Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. It's a fourth week and the second lecture of the fourth week for mathematics 2. So, in previous lecture, in previous video, we have discussed the function and the type of the function, the types of the function that we have discussed. That the function that we discussed in the previous class, that was the linear function, and how to calculate the value of the functions by putting the value of independent variable, how to get the value of dependent variable. Now today we will discuss the total cost function, which is the practical application of the function in the business field. The total cost function, or you can say only cost function. The second one is the total revenue function, or you can say only revenue function. And the third one is profit function. So the first, total cost function basically is the combination of four variables. It's a combination of four variables. The first variable, that is C. So as I mentioned that we were representing the function by f of x, f representing the function, and x is the independent variable. Here also, if you see, we are representing the function by c of x. C of x, you can call it c of x. You can pronounce it like this. C of x means c is a total cost function with respect to x. Or we can represent the total cost function by this way also. TC, total cost, F, fixed cost, V, variable cost, and Q, quantity. But in this particular case, we can explain it like this, that c of x is equal to f plus vx. You can take this function or this function, both are same. But suppose we are taking this one. So in this particular case, c of x equal to f plus vx, it's a total cost function through which we can calculate the cost of any kind of production of a product, where c representing the total cost, F representing the fixed cost, V representing variable cost per unit, and X representing the number of units produced or the number of units sold. So if you see here, fixed cost basically representing what, like rent, like tax, or some other fixed costs that you have to pay. For example, if you are hiring a building for any kind of purpose, so we have to pay the rent if we are using that building for any purpose or not. But you have to pay the rent of that particular building. So that particular rent that you are going to pay monthly or yearly, that is basically called what? The fixed cost. Variable cost, when you are making a product, when you are producing a product in any factory or in any machine. So variable cost basically depends on the raw materials, depends on the labor cost, depends on the other expenses like electricity, like other raw materials. So that is depends on the value of that variable cost, on the value of that product. For example, if the raw material is cheap, so the variable cost will be cheap. But if the raw material is expensive, so the variable cost will be expensive. Then number of items representing by X, or number of items which is sold or produced. So X representing what? The number of items. Here Q representing the quantity or the number of items. But we can use this particular uh, function to get any of these four. If the fixed cost is given, so you can find out the variable cost, you can find out the quantity, you can find out the total cost. For example, if we take an example like this, if the total cost of a product is $200, and if the fixed cost is, suppose, $10, variable cost, the cost of per unit. Suppose if you are producing this marker, so the cost of one marker is how much? So suppose if we have variable cost, that is V. Suppose it's $2, and number of items that we needs to produce. If we are producing number of items, suppose how many items that we can produce. Yeah, suppose we are finding the total cost. The total cost is unknown. Let's see, the total cost is unknown, and number of items that we are producing, that is 200 units. So what will be the total cost of this particular product? If we are producing a product and we needs to find out the total cost mean mukammal masarif of that particular product. What will be that particular total cost of that product? So if the fixed cost is 10, the variable cost is 2, and the quantity that we needs to produce is 200. So we will use this particular equation, that C of x is equal to F plus V of x, V multiplied by x. So C of x is equal to F, that is fixed cost $10, plus variable cost $2, multiplied by 200. So 200 multiplied by 2, so it will become 400. 400 plus 10, so $410 is the total cost of what? Of a product which needs to be produced, and the number of items of that product is 200. So by this way you can use this particular function to find out the total cost. Then the total revenue. Total revenue function is very much simple. It's very much simple. If you need to find out revenue means our worth. So how you can find out the income, or you can say the total revenue, or the total income. So which particular variables are included in this function? R of x is equal to P multiplied by x. R representing total revenue or total income. P representing price per unit or price of an item, and X representing the number of items or the number of units sold. So for example, suppose if we take an example related to this one, if you need to find out the total revenue, R is unknown, and if the price of one marker, suppose this is the product, the price of one marker means price per unit is $5, and we needs to find out the total revenue of 10 markers. Sorry, the total revenue of 10 markers. So x equal to 10. Now the units are 10. Here you will write the formula. R of x is equal to P multiplied by x. Just multiply them. So R is equal to P 5 multiplied by 10. It will become $50. So this is the simple example that you can say. Now after that we have a profit function. A profit function is very much simple, and profit means to get the benefits from the revenue and the cost. Just just you have to subtract cost from the revenue, so you can get the profit. And this is very much simple. P is equal to R of x minus C of x. So if the profit is representing by P, R of x representing revenue function, and C of x representing total cost function. So when you needs to find out of a product the total cost, if you need to find out of that product the total revenue, just subtract them, so you can find out the profit of that the profit of that particular product also by using this. I will give you a few examples in the notes. They are related to these three types of functions, and you should try to study those particular examples. So from there also you will get the different idea related to the total cost, total revenue, and the profit function. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.